Hollywood Studios is undergoing a lot of changes here very soon. Some of them are underway, and that's why we're here today. I'm going to make my way back to both Animation Courtyard and the previous home of the Muppets and talk about the future of this park a little bit today, give you a little bit more insight on what's going to be going on. So right behind me over here is where Animation Courtyard was. Obviously, didn't make it out here before it closed. I kind of forgot it was closing. This is one of the first ones that hasn't gotten a whole lot of fanfare since it closed. I think for obvious reasons, nobody really cared for it. Obviously, walls have started going up. There's interesting enough already walls out here towards the front that I believe they're clearing up some of the walls that are currently there. There also are full walls already up. 2 Star Wars launch bay in that whole area there are already fully walled. But you can still walk back here a little bit right now to Little Mermaid because that was just redone. So again, I don't think they would want to take that out. If you didn't know, this is all being replaced by the magic of Disney's animation. All of Animation Courtyard is getting replaced by that. We don't really know fully what that is. It kind of could be a mix of, we know there's like going to be play areas, so some kids areas inside, but then we're also not sure what else there's going to be. Are they moving Animation Academy over there from Animal Kingdom at Rafiki's Planet Watch? Are they adding different animation stuff in there? How big is it? Not really sure at this point. We don't really know fully what they're doing. We just know it is fully underway at this point. Again, I don't think this is much of a loss to anyone. But interesting enough, if you look right behind me, they're actually putting up a temporary like wheelchair ramp where the stairs normally were. The wheelchair ramp is still off to the side there. I don't know what the point of that is, if that ramp is staying, but maybe it's not, and maybe they're worried about something here soon. But again, walls are going up here along the entrance area to Animation Courtyard. That is going to be that new area here that I'm obviously very excited for. I don't think anyone cared for Launch Bay. So obviously one of the big changes here, and probably the one that people care about the most, is over here at what used to be Muppets Courtyard and the Muppet Show and Pizza Rizzo's and Mama Melrose. Obviously fully under construction at this point. They've been tearing up all the concrete, all the statues, and all the stuff towards the land. Can't see much towards the top of everything currently. I think that's just because they don't want to tear down any of that yet. We do think we're keeping all the buildings, from judging by the concept art that you're probably seeing right now. We think they're keeping all the buildings to use as future showpieces. Restaurants will probably be turned back into other restaurants in the show theater. Uncertain, but I imagine will be another show. Obviously, I'm very excited for this change, even with the loss of the Muppets. I'm a big fan of the Muppets, so it is a loss, and I did love this area in total, but I think it needed to go at some point. I think everything has a life period, and it just wasn't ever really busy back here. So I think turning it into Monsters, having a big new coaster back here that's going to be an indoor coaster, it sounds great. And I love that Disney continues to build indoor rides a lot better in the Florida weather. But let me know, are you excited for this change? Do you miss Muppets? But speaking of Muppets, we're gonna go talk about Muppets more right now. As we're walking back to Muppets, I thought I would just quickly touch on Indiana Jones. Obviously, Indiana Jones is pretty much a staple of this park with the stunt show. I will say, I think it would be nice if it stayed, just because a lot of the parks have lost their stunt shows, and I think that's really sad. This park's lost a lot of stunt shows, but I unfortunately do think this ride's days are numbered. I mean, if you think about it, why keep it when we're getting an Indiana Jones ride over in Animal Kingdom? Usually the parks try to avoid having multiple IPs in different parks, or the same IP multiple times in other parks. It's not unheard of. I mean, Buzz Lightyear still exists at Magic Kingdom, yet we have Toy Story Land here. So it's not unheard of, but I wouldn't be surprised if when they finish up a lot of stuff in this park, if that's one of the next ones to go. So obviously one of the biggest changes here happening very soon is with Rock and Roller Coaster. This is obviously getting turned into Electric Mayhem from the Muppets. So it will stay Rock and Roller Coaster. I don't want anyone to freak out about that. It's staying the same coaster. It will have the same theme. I would assume it's going to have the same pre-show, just with Electric Mayhem instead of Aerosmith that it is currently, obviously. But I also think that not much about the ride will change. I think there'll be a lot more in-ride scenes. So think of those like while you're riding, those like street signs and stuff. I think some of those will stay, but I'm hoping they update a lot of those. I think they'll update the station. Obviously the music will be updated and the general vibe outside of it, including the queue line, will change a little bit. So we'll end up seeing what it happens pretty soon, because it is open out throughout 2025. We did get that confirmation. So if you have a trip planned for this year, don't worry too much. Next year though, very uncertain. We don't know an exact date, but I would assume February, January, that range, because they do want this seemingly open by 2026. So again, we'll have to see what happens with this. I personally am a big fan of this change. I love Rock and Roller Coaster, but I'm not the biggest Aerosmith fan. I don't hate them, but I think I really like the Muppets and I like Electric Mayhem, so I'm very forward for this change. But one other thing I wanted to quickly talk about back here before we wrap up is to do with villains. So I think in the future, this is purely just me yapping, Villains feels like a very temporary show with the way they set it up. Not a whole lot of actors, lots of screens. Feels very temporary. Whether you like that or not, it's up to you. You know, some people I've heard really like this show. I'm okay with the show. I don't think it's fantastic. I don't think it's bad. But I think when Villains opens at Magic Kingdom, there's a very good chance that this whole back area becomes Muppet Studios, that I would be a massive fan of, especially with the new TV show getting announced. Well, more of the continuation of the old TV show, but it got announced. I think Muppets are going to skyrocket in popularity. They're already looking at to replace Villains with Rock and Roller Coaster, or Muppets and into Rock and Roller Coaster, and I think Villains will also get replaced by Muppets. Some sort of show, but I could also see them extending that back area into a restaurant too back there. With that, that's the only things happening over here at Hollywood Studios for now. If you want to see more update videos, do let me know, but I would really like to hear what everybody thinks about all these changes. I'm personally for basically about everything. Muppets has already passed away, so there's no need to cry about that anymore, but I did like that area, don't get me wrong, but again, I've always made it clear that I think everything at a theme park has its place in time. I'm sad when historical things close, or things that open with a park, or something that's been there a long time. It's just like over at Busch Gardens with Stanley Falls, that was their log flume, had been there for a very, very long time. Very upset that that's closing, or I think has closed at this point. But again, it's just, I think everything has a place in time. It's sad when historic things close or things that people do like. But again, nobody was going back there. That show was never full, even during peak seasons. Pizza Rizzo's, let's be honest, sucked. Nobody liked the food there. I personally never got to eat at Mama Melrose, and I'm upset about that. I didn't realize it was closing so earlier, or I would have 100% eaten there at some point. But again, let me know how you feel about all these changes. I think they're all good things coming to this park. Obviously, a lot of construction happening at Disney World right now, so I would hold off taking a trip for a couple years if you're looking to take a trip here soon. Thanks for watching. I hope this video brought a little more joy into your day, and we'll see you guys next time.